My sister-in-law. She tried to hook up with me. I know it sounds crazy, but guys, hear me out. We work at the same institute. She actually got me the job. And then she starts hitting on me, and she even blackmails me. She says she's going to tell everyone that I did something to her. If I don't do something to her, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Do I cave in? Do I fall for it? Do I do nothing? Do I tell HR? Let me walk you through this one. I'll bluntly start this: under no circumstances would I ever be with a married woman, much less with my sister-in-law. I say this because for some time now, my sister Emma has been hitting on me at work. And it's already pretty obvious that she wants something with me. Not only has she hinted at it, but she confirmed my suspicions yesterday, when talking via text message. I'll explain a bit of the context because it's divided into two parts: my relationship with my brother and Emma, and my current job. Okay, first my relationship with my brother. Arthur and I have a pretty bland relationship. I don't know how to put it, it's just that we never had any big fights or loud arguments during our upbringing. Of course, he's 8 years older than me, so he was at a more advanced level. Apart from the fact that there were 5 siblings, and among all of them, the one that I was least close to was precisely Arthur. See, we always treated each other in an utmost formal manner, almost. I mean, hellos and goodbyes. Good morning, good night. We were one of those families that used to have their own lives separate from each other. I mean, years later, I learned that wasn't quite normal. And it wasn't until his wedding day that we began to stay together more, as he moved quite close to my house, and since then, we visited each other more often. Something that our parents liked very much. See, we could have, for the first time, a real family interaction. We helped each other. At a certain point, they even helped me get my dream job, which is precisely the next point I was going to touch on. I now work in the office of a highly rated insurance company in the city, something I've been hoping to do since I graduated. I was jumping from company to company, but none of them could match the things that I was precisely looking for. And I got this new job largely thanks to Emma, as she works as an assistant to one of the 6 regional managers. She has also a lot of influence in the company and rivals my brother in financial income from home. You know, they live very well, and little by little I wanted to join their circle. I've always tried to aspire to a quiet life with the least number of problems, but it seems as if the problems are looking for me, and the problems have Emma's name on it. I had not interacted with her that much until I started working at the company. Every time I went to visit Arthur, it was to share a few beers and, I don't know, watch whatever soccer or baseball game was on the telly. Emma would only show up to give us some snacks or tell Arthur something about work. Then, when I was already in the office, her behavior changed oh so radically. Now she was more energetic and would ask me the stupidest or most obvious thing in the world, like, where's the recycling paper? The recycle paper box? Have you turned in last month's balance sheet? That's the first thing I do in the month. Oh, are you coming to Arthy's birthday? No comment on this one. It was as if he was just talking to get a conversation out of me. Just to give you an idea of the influence Emma has within the company, I'd previously sent my resume to the offices as part of the group of friends, and I decided to try our luck there. That place is exceedingly difficult to get into, I'll tell ya, as you even have to go through a tough psychological test, and they're rigorous. Well, as it turns out, when I mentioned this, Emma just had to mention in one of the management meeting talks that we needed someone new for a position that fit me like a glove. While my friends and I went to great lengths to get in, it only took Emma a few words to get me on staff. My friends started to envy me, and after they spoke to me again for my trouble, of course it was all in jest, as they later did congratulate me. I had to start dealing with another problem. The atmosphere in the office is very good and very neat, with pretty good camaraderie, but something comes up with Emma. Oh, well, it turns out that apparently she wants to be with me, but not in a ready coworker way, not even in a lovely sister-in-law way. We were texting yesterday, talking about some office stuff, important stuff this time, but when the conversation ended, it was something like this.
Shall we leave the meeting for Friday? Then she said. I replied, yeah. So decisions are made more calmly on the weekend, LOL. So far so good. I thought the conversation was dead until half an hour later she writes me again. I thought it was already an unspoken goodbye. The kind where I can be left in the dark and it doesn't matter. Well, she told me if I was interested in the forbidden, and I didn't know what she was talking about, the forbidden. She talking about fruit? And she made lots of innuendos after that, making me feel very uncomfortable. I was fooling around asking if somebody was saying something about me. Yeah, I know, sounds really stupid. But she ended up by saying that I wasn't in tune with her vibes and wishing me a happy night. I really wanted to continue the conversation. I was fully aware of everything that was happening. I was playing dumb, not to be so obvious as a form of denial of what was going down. I was talking with a couple of friends and they did not give me good looks. They told me she was asking for something else. But when I looked at my brother and Emma's relationship, I could not detect any type of misconduct. In fact, they expressed their love very often. My brother is very affectionate, and they always tell me their stories, how they met each other, and how great their lives have been so far. So why come up with this? I feel like I'm living in denial, because surely something else must be going on. I may be seeing the signs from another perspective, because I talked to my mom without telling her in depth what happened. And she tells me that Emma has been pretty good to them forever, and she doesn't see anything strange about her behavior. She even half scolded me and lectured me about how grateful I should be for having the job that I have because of her. My brother also said something similar when I let it slip a comment the other day at dinner. We were all eating, including another one of our brothers, and I commented about how the job I had is turning out to be somewhat easier than I expected. Apparently, according to him, it's because Emma was watching my back. As one of the secretaries, she's closer to the managers and she tells them not to give me so much work. Well, not that it made me upset, but it did make me feel kind of, useless. I said I didn't need anyone's help to be able to work, a comment that in retrospect may have sounded a little too harsh. Still, after dinner, I tried to apologize. And Emma told me that no matter what I said, she wasn't going to stop helping me. But guys, she said it in a very, very weird, odd tone. Emma, my sister, is trying to seduce me. Oh, sister-in-law. I'm afraid, because my brother usually takes a trip of at least 1 weekend a month, leaving Emma alone during that time, and I don't know if that's when she'll be lonely or something, which I doubt. It's only like a 3-day months, I don't know, but I don't want to believe that she's taking advantage of that to bring men to the home. And now it's worse because she has me as one of her suitors. Okay, guys, in theory, she hasn't done anything wrong, so far we're good? I'd like to tell Arthur, but I don't know if it's the wisest thing to do. I may become very innocent, and I would like to see that it was a mistake and that I misunderstood the matter. But if not, Emma's powerful enough to be able to make my work pretty strong of an experience, and I wouldn't want to be any kind of blackmail with that. She should just be in charge of working and keeping the house in order, and that's it. I have nothing to do with that. Update number 1. Indeed, what I had been dreading for a month when I wrote the last note to you was that Emma finally proposed it to me, threatening precisely to get me fired from work. Of course she didn't mean it so literally, but it was hinted at in the sense that she doesn't, quote, take no for an answer. You should have seen the look in her eyes. See, at my job, there are 8 regional managers. Half of them are based in an office on the other side of the state, and the other half are here. I say this because Emma influences this half, and that is, if she feels like it, she can not only have me kicked to the curb, but also tarnish my resume to the point where I can't get another job again. That's what I'm most panicked about in this whole situation. Of course, a lot of men would jump in all at once. I mean, putting it in a certain perspective, it would be, quote, a beautiful woman is forcing me to be her lover or else I'll face the dire consequences. It's not like she's going to tell my bro, but it's precisely for this reason that I would not dare to make a move. If my brother ever finds out, no matter how hard I try to talk some sense into him, I feel like it would not be enough. I haven't told any of this to the guys at the office because if I did, they might well spread the gossip and I would still lose out. Everyone might think it's a golden opportunity to get away with it, but I love my brother too much to do that to him. Now, situations in the office are more awkward. I feel like Emma quite enjoys the fact that I'm uncomfortable. That's kind of, well, her thing, isn't it? It's like something that goes on, I don't know, domination, submission, what do you call it? Humiliation. Because believe me, I feel very, very humiliated. I wouldn't mind being with someone in the office, and I wouldn't even mind being with someone on the down low. I mean, I'm not innocent, but with Emma? Sorry, I'll pass on that. I'd rather find myself literally any other woman but just be single and be done with it. I asked her how she felt about my brother and if it didn't hurt her to hurt him like that, and she told me that nothing was going to happen as long as we kept it business. Well, I asked her what would happen if we get caught, and she said that she would still blame it on me. What? What a nerve! Either way, I lose out, and even if I wanted to, I don't feel I could opt for an office transfer, because as I said, the other office is too far away, and I'm already way too close to this one, without wasting so much time getting there. Emma has already told me that she won't leave me alone until I kiss her. And I feel that if I don't do something really bad is going to happen. I don't want to be seeing myself in this situation. Update number 2. Hey, it's me again. I was able to confirm it by seeing how crazy Emma is. Are you ready? Last weekend, something happened. Shortly after my last update even. It all started with my brother having one of his monthly trips I've told you all about. He asked me to take care of his house and Emma, and he had not even been gone for 5 hours when Emma calls me up on a line. I was going to dump her anyways, but the messages started coming in, saying that there was a leak in the basement, and she was afraid it would flood everything. Well, I tried to reach Arthur, but he was probably already on the flight with his phone off, so I rushed there. I told Emma I didn't want any trickery, but she got offended, and the issue was serious and had been a problem in their home for some time. She tells me that if I call Arthur, he would probably comment on it as it's a biggest headache they've had for the past few weeks. But they could never get time to call the repairman, man. They had to wait precisely the day Arthur left. So why not call the repairman now? According to Emma, it was Arthur who had the number. Besides, the water was coming out under pressure, and she was afraid of making everything worse. I could hear it from the main entrance of the home, a little hissing sound, sounded like a snake, coming from the basement, and in principle the leak thing was true. Emma looked very, very worried. It wasn't that big, but it already managed to flood the room at least an inch above the floor. Good thing I had my high boots on. I don't think that I did the best job in the world, but at least I managed to stop the leak. And I was able to seal the pipe with a small sealant that I had among my tools. I ended up pretty tired, and when I turned around, what did I find? Emma was naked in front of me. I started saying no, almost cartoonishly. She asked me if I would help her dry the room, and I could only comment that was her deal. I already did a lot for her by fixing the plumbing, and she insisted, and it was hard to get past her to the stairs. I covered my eyes. She would touch me and try to hug up on me, but I would dodge her left, right, underhook, as much as I could, but when I tried to pull out my phone to record it, she threw it and it ended up in the water. I picked it up in less than a second, but the screen had already gone dark. Thanks, Emma. I helped you with the problem and ended up losing a telly. I told her that she should go to couples therapy, but I didn't want to keep talking to the naked woman next to me. I half pushed her, and she, I'm pretty sure she exaggerated that, ended up on the wet floor too, and asked me, "Help! I can't get up!" And I told her she should have bought a life alert necklace. And then I simply left the place. She asked me to at least kiss her, or she would call Arthur right this second to tell him that I had abused her, and that this was going to escalate to the company's office HR. I didn't care. If she wanted, she could do it, because I'd rather keep my honor than succumb. But I couldn't say that. I was tired and just wanted to lie down for a while, and this does not make me proud at all, but yes, I kissed her. I kissed her. I don't know if it was the emotion of the moment or because she was slowly pulling me towards her face, but after 10 seconds I turned around and I ran away. I haven't seen her face since then, and she's been texting obscene things to my phone. I had to use the messaging version of the PC while I bought a new phone. The other one is a lost cause. I feel like I'll end up succumbing to the pressure, and that's what hurts me that most. I don't know how to get out of this, and if you know any methods to get away with it, I'll keep an eye on the comments, guys. Update number 3. I have something in mind that can change literally everything. I came to it in my mind within a few days of the water faucet incident. I haven't said anything to Arthur about what happened, and I don't think that I will. That said, if my plan goes smooth, I won't need to tell him. I've been talking to one of the company managers with whom I've been on good terms with, not Emma's direct boss, and I've hit it off with him. Well, my parents used to say that the world was made of contacts, and if you wanted to get ahead in life, you would have to know the right people and always keep them close, almost bordering on what, would you call it, bootlicking? Well, on this occasion, it worked a bit, but since now, talking to him, I knew that I might be considered for a much higher position. It was for the first time. A rookie. Yeah, that's right. Had demonstrated so much professionalism in such a short period of time. I guess I always left that part out of all the text messages, but I'm a very dang good worker, and it's because, of this that I came up with a way to beat Emma at her own little game, simply by being her boss. Yeah, that's right. Tell me, who would I have to convince that she's blackmailing me besides my brother? The next authority figure, and if I have the power to be able to be in that position, I can do it without any sort of problem. Believe it or not, I've considered talking to this manager about it, but he's somewhat reluctant on the subject of Emma. Maybe because she's been with the company for a very long time, and since she's the assistant to one of his colleagues. He says it's the best just not to mess with it. She said it in a general way, not because I was speaking specially. What matters is that I now have a way to get out of this whole mess, which is to make more progress at work. But I have to do it in record time before Emma overtakes me. The way the tables will turn, and I'll be the one who can get away with it. Besides, I'll keep my job, and I'll be able to have a good relationship with my brother. Sure, that will be a quite negative thing for him, but I would rather that than have him continue to be cheated on by his wife. According to my calculations, I'll be in a senior position in a couple of months, but if everything goes smoothly, the process will be moved up by a month. The best thing is, even though she has some power, Emma can't affect my performance or how much she's getting noticed. She doesn't know this, so it will go unnoticed by her as well. That's for sure. Final update, guys. This one's crazy. Make sure you subscribe for daily videos. Update number 4. 2 weeks after my last text, something happened in the office, and that was one of the managers resigned out of the blue, leaving a vacancy for the position. I was promoted, and got to know the other members of the regional management. It was a better salary, but more working hours and constant travel. During this time, unfortunately, things with Emma were quite immodest. I won't specify anything, just that it was more than just kissing, but less than you can imagine. And to clarify, at no point did I enjoy it. As much as anyone would like to be in my position, it's not nice to be manipulated. Anywho, you need to know that I was promoted because someone resigned from the position, and this was quite strange. The guy had a good reputation and years of experience. Why would he just ghost? I contacted the former manager and had a casual conversation with him. I mentioned Emma in the conversation and noticed that he got a little uncomfy. He said, I wouldn't want to talk about her right now. My system's dealing with it. When I asked him what he meant, calm down, buddy, he said it's personal and he didn't want to get involved with it knowing that she was my sister-in-law. I asked, was it that she came to make a pass at you? He started to double down, saying that if it had happened to me too. That's when it all came to a head. He was one of Emma's victims, who put up so much pressure on him that poor man quit without getting his per diem paid. If I didn't take care of myself, I would end up in the same position as that poor man. But I told him that we had to do something, and then I came up with a bright idea. Sure, it was my idea to hire her in position, but that would only make my brother hate me and she would go unpunished, so it was better to go another way. And it was just letting her seduce me inside the office where I pretended to play the game. It was risky, as I didn't want her to think it was some sort of ambush. However, she was so entranced that she didn't notice the ex-manager filming her from one of the corners of the office that he knew about. But Emma did not. It was an empty room that we used to drop useless things in, and that was enough to show to the board of directors, who didn't take it very well. I called a meeting where we exposed a video while I video called my brother. He was on his day off at home. I exposed how Emma had blackmailed the ex-manager and me to be with her. He never did anything with her, but I had to admit I did because of the risk of losing my job. My brother just hung up the phone, and that worried me. The board was surprised at Emma's attitude, and her direct boss asked her to talk about the meeting. Many cases of harassment began to appear within the company. A girl was harassed by one of the bosses of the regional division. A man was blackmailed for an intimate video years ago, and even a lady felt she was looked down upon in the office just for being a woman. This was like stirring up a hornet's nest, all because of Emma. She was fired, and her name was Sully for life, as the company would not vouch for her on their resume. The former manager was offered his position back, but decided not to accept it. He had planned to move to another state and wanted to keep that on the table. My brother, we haven't talked, but I know that he blocked his social networks, while Emma shared many depressing pictures, and one of them even hinted at divorce. I don't consider my brother foolish enough to keep a relationship with her. According to my mom, it'll pass. But in the meantime, I will continue to focus on work, because with the sudden staff cut, everything is a bit more complicated right now. Top comments, comment number 1 from all the updates. It's on the positive side, and it says, "Hey, OP." On the good side, OP and his brother, who could have a little more togetherness as a result of it. But on the other hand, I feel like that dream job thing is more fantasy than reality. Because if anything, this should have shown OP that the working world can be pretty dark and troubling. One should always look behind one's back, and this also goes for couples. As for the OP's brother, I don't feel that he was to blame for being so obsessed with this, because sometimes, because of so much trust, we end up blind to the person we love the most. Comment number 2, negative. I'm glad it all worked out for OP, but that's not why he or anyone should be safe. As you said at the end, many cases of abuse and harassment are being investigated in the company, and this may be the start of something relatively dark. As I once said, many big businesses are brought down by things like this, and I'm glad that at least some justice can be served to those affected, because they do deserve it. But I do believe OP is at fault the most for craving her and falling to her cravings. He's super beta.